Hi, so we want to learn today arrays and collections in Java, right? Okay, so let's start with. So I have opened my Eclipse. I will go to Workbench and then I will create a simple Java project. So why don't I do something like this? Java project. Okay, I can give learn Java. I am assuming you already have Java installed on your system. So I will open this thing. Okay, so now what I will do is I will create a package inside it. So let's say arrays. Inside this, I will create a class and let's say I give name learn array. I will select public static void main and then finish. Okay, now I've created a plain class. It doesn't have anything. The name of class is learn array. It has only one method, that is public static void main method, which is required for us to run this program, any Java program, if you're using this way. Okay. Uh, the website which I will be following is Java T Point. It's very informative, very easy to understand, and all the topics which I refer, I will go to this website so that you can go there and look yourself as well. So first of all, what I will do is, okay, so let's start with arrays, right? So I will go to Java arrays, right? So I will just read out the definition. Uh, Java arrays is a collection of similar types of elements which has contiguous memory location. Okay, now before I jump to Java arrays, I will just spend a couple of minutes to explain what are variables in Java. So basically, whenever we want to store any information, we need some containers, and we tend to call those containers as variables, right? Now, let's suppose if you have a variable, a container, which can hold a value, right? So that is variable. Now, if we want to store any value, so the value can be on different types of values. Like for example, we can have integers, we can have decimals, we can have Boolean values like true and false, and then we can have characters. So all sort of things. We have a long list of different types of we call it as a data type in Java. So I will only cover few basics, right? So for example, if I want to hold a integer value, the way I will create variables is I will say int, let's say int a is equal to, now I can hold a value, let's say 13. Okay. Okay. If I want to hold decimal values, so I will say double D is equal to 13.45. Okay. Now there is one more data type in Java which is available to holding decimal value, that is float. Float f is equal to, if I want to store like something like this 14.56, it will throw me error. Why? By default, all the decimal values in Java are double type. So when I was doing this, it was not throwing any error because it is a double value. But this is also a double, but we are storing in a variable which can only hold float values. So to hold these value in float, I have to typecast it. So how can I typecast this? I can say float this way. Now the error has been gone. Okay, now if I want to hold a character, a single character, I can say char c is equal to single the characters we have to store in single quotes. So let's say I would say A. Okay, okay, right. Now this way the char C is equal to A. Now if I want to print these values, I can print A, then you will see that it shows 13. Now if I print D, it will show me 13.45. If I say C, it will print A. Okay, so these are the basic thing. One more, which is a basic, is Boolean. If you want to uh, store either true or false value, we can store those values in a variable which is of Boolean type. Okay, now the thing is that the integer variable can only have host integer values. Double and float host the decimal values, and character will host a single character. Now, there's an interesting concept and a possibility in Java is, I'm not going in terms of what is the different size, that's a different altogether, different topic altogether. But if I want to show you, the int and char have same size. So we could also do, if I say something like this, int, let's say x is equal to single quotes A. Now this is perfectly fine, right? But if I print now x, it should not give me a value. It will give me 97. Now why 97? Okay, this is from the previous example. So this will hold, this will give 97. Why? Because even though the size is different, but this type is different than integer. It's a character type. So what Java compiler will do, it will change this character into a ASCII value, and the ASCII value of A is 97. Now if I change this to capital A, I will get a different value, that is 65, because the ASCII value of A is 65. Now this is valid other way around as well. So for example, let me just comment out this. Now if I say char y is equal to 97. Okay, now 97 is integer, but y is a variable of char type. Ideally should only have char values. Now if I want to print y, it will not print 97, it will print A, because 97 is integer. But when we are giving that value 97 into y variable, that will convert this into a the character value, or the actual character of this value. Now if I give 98, it will give me B. Okay, there is a range, so it effectively gets change lot of values. So all the characters which we have, around 250 are characters, it holds true for that. For example, instead of A, if I give, let's say, hash code. Okay, now if I print this, the value of x, it will give me a value which is 35. So that means the ASCII value of hash is 35. You don't have to remember it, but just to remember this concept, that we can hold character values inside integer and integer value inside character. But if I store something like this, let's see what happens. Yeah, so 9867 is the value of question mark. Okay, now this was the simple concept of variables. Okay, now what we will do is we'll jump into arrays. So let me just comment out this. or why don't I create a new class altogether? So I will change this variable, this class name as learn var, learn variable. Okay, perfect. Okay, now I will create a new class with learn arrays. Okay, so in Java, whenever we want to hold a single value, we use variables like I have shown you integer, float, double, char, and boolean. There is one like long is also there. So these are types of variables. Now, if we want to store more than one value, uh, we can't do it with single variable. So we have to use arrays. So time to jump back to the this Java T point. What it says is array is a collection of similar types of element which has continuous memory location. Java array is an object which contains elements of similar data type. Right now, if we want to store more than one value, we have to use arrays because if I scroll down, you see now this diagram will give you an actual picture. So this is an array of length 10. Okay, there is an actual memory location where this will hold that memory, and we will have a one variable pointing to this memory location. I'll explain you what I'm saying. Just remember that the first index is always starts from 0. So if the length of array is 10, it will start from 0 to 9. 0, 1, 2, 3 till 9. Okay. Now there are two ways in which we can create arrays. Okay. Yeah. So the one way is we can declare, instantiate, and initialize Java array in one single line. So if I copy this, or why don't I write it myself? So let's say I will create int, and then let's say I'm giving a name as a. After a, I will give the square bracket, which will tell the compiler that we are creating an array, and I can give, let's say I want to give 5, 3, 7, 8, 9. Okay, now see how it is different from this way. If we are not giving the square bracket, we can only give one value, but now we are storing more than one values. So as of now, we are storing how many values? 5 values. So the size or the length of this array is 5. Okay. Now, what if now this the 5 will store at index 0, 2 on index 1, index 2, index 3, index 4. Okay. Now, if we want to find out, or if you want to use the value which is at index 1, that is 2, how can we do that? So the way it we can do is, let's say a, and if I give inside a 1. Okay, so how can we how can we retrieve the value? We give the variable name, and then inside the bracket we give the index, right? Now if I run this program, I will get 2 because it has one index. If I give 0, it will give me 5. And if I give, let's say, 4, it will give me 9. Okay. Now what will happen if I give 5? Let's say 5. Okay. Now we get an exception. It says java.lang.array index out of bound exception because the length of array is 5, but the indexing will start from 0. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and there is no fifth element. Not There is no element at fifth index. We don't have that size. So it will give me array index out of bound exception. Now what will happen if I give -1? Again, it will give me array index out of bound exception because the first index is 0. So we don't have -1. Okay, now this is the way of retrieving the value from arrays. Okay, I will show you how you can retrieve the values, all the values in one go using for loop. Before that, I will explain you the other way from how can we create array and use it. So the other way is, so this is uh, way one of creating arrays. The second way of creating arrays is, I will say int, let's say b, and I will say new int and then 5, let's say 4 only. Okay, now what this line says that we want to create an array which will hold 4 values. The size of that array is 4, and that memory location would be pointed by b. Now at this moment, an empty array would be created of size 4, right? What do you mean by empty array? The value of all these would be 0. Now, so if I want to access the A0 zeroth index, I did a mistake. Okay, I will comment this out, and if I run this, I will get 0. A0. Oh, I'm printing A. I have to change to B. Yeah, 0. And if I say A3, it will also 0, because we have not given the values of all those 4 locations of array. In this way, while creating the array, we are giving the information of what would be the value of each index, but this way we are not doing it. So how can we initialize, how can we provide values? So we'll say A, the index, let's say we want to give a value to the 0th index. I will say A0 is equal to, let's say I give 3. Same way, I will give A1 as, let's say 45. I can give 45, not only single values. A2, let's say 56, and A3 is equal to 90. Okay. Now if I access A3, I will get 90 because B3 is 90. Okay. If I try to give a B4, I will get an error because we don't have that size. Okay, so this is the second way of how you can create arrays. Now, how can you access each of these elements? How to access each of the element of an array? So we have to use loops, right? So we have a couple of loops in Java. We have for loop, we have while, do while, and for each. So the simplest loop is, of course, for loop. So how can I? Okay, if I want the way I'm printing single value in line number 22, I want to print all the values of arrays. So how I can do that? I will start a for loop. So for, and then we have parentheses, and this way. Now inside this for parentheses, it requires 3 values. So first is a variable. So I will say int I is equal to 10. We also call it as a counter. Then a semicolon. I will say the condition. So I will say I less than b dot length. B dot length. That means I want to traverse this B array, and I will explain you. Then I plus plus. So this is saying is, first we are defining I as 0, okay, and then we are going into the loop. When I is 0, it will check whether the I is less than the length. So the length of this B is 4, okay, it is 4. But why I'm using less than? Because I just want to go from 0 to 3, because the length is 4, so the last index would be 3. So if I access 4, if I say here equal to, I will get a exception while I was when I will get to the last element. So I will say sys out, and inside this I will say B, and instead of giving any hard code index, I will say I. Right? So what now if I print this, you can see it is printing 3, 45, 56, 90. How it is doing is, on the first interaction it is 0. On the first iteration of loop it is 0. It is less than the length, and then I plus plus. Sorry, it is I equal to 0, then I is less than the length. It will go inside, print it, and it will increment this I, go back again, checking the condition, still satisfied, and go there.